Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the Fourth.
The Rays have endured back-to-back heartbreaking losses in Houston. Tuesday night, it was Marwin Gonzalez blasting a 10th-inning home run. Last night, rookie phenom Carlos Correa walked it off in the 13th. Tonight, the Rays send their ace to the hill as Chris Archer looks to get Tampa Bay a series split versus the Astros. Tonight in Houston, the Rays continue their 10-game road trip with a fourth and final matchup with the Houston Astros. The Rays are looking for a split, dropping 2 of the first 3 games here after being swept in Arlington, Texas by the Rangers. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Rays need a win tonight. 2 heartbreaking losses, and they're going to send Chris Archer to the hill. He has continued to pitch extremely well in his brief career against this Houston Astros ball club.
4 starts for Chris Archer against the Astros. The numbers outstanding. The ERA's barely over 1 at 1.09, and in 24 2/3 innings, he's held them to a batting average of 157. So he's been dominant against this team, but it's this team a little bit different. A new look team. They're going to be hunting the fastball just like the Texas Rangers did against Chris Archer. So we know that the changeup has been a prominent pitch in this series for Rays pitchers, and we'll see how much Chris Archer goes to that tonight. You know the slider's going to be in play, and it's going to be in play early because of the way this Houston Astro offense is set up.
Archer coming off that tough outing against the Rangers up in Arlington. He is 10-9 on the year with a .293 earned run average. Colin McHugh, the right-hander for the Astros, a 13-game winner, 13-6 despite the 4.09 earned run average. More bad news for the Rays on the health front. Surgery for Jake McGee. And Rich Hollenberg has details on that story when we return.
the roof closed once again as we get set for Game 4 at Minute Maid Park. The Rays must feel like they have a dark cloud hanging over their heads, indoors or not. Why is that? Well, the news just came down a few hours ago that Jake McGee will ostensibly miss the rest of the season. This morning he was diagnosed with a torn meniscus in his injured left knee. That diagnosis coming after the team Dr. Coco Eaton evaluated that left knee back in St. Petersburg. He is scheduled for arthroscopic surgery tomorrow, and he's scheduled to miss 6 to 8 weeks. So the earliest you'd expect to see McGee back on the mound would come right at the end of the regular season, the first week in October. So with McGee officially going to the DL, the Rays making their 128th roster move of the season, recalling left-handed reliever Enny Romero from Durham. Not the kind of news his teammates or coaches needed.
For it to be surgery related, it's always a devastating blow to us to lose him in the back end of the pen.
Well, it's certainly unfortunate, but it's just it's a part of doing business. This happens all the time. Unfortunately for us, this year we've had, more than our share of injuries. It's just going to present another opportunity for somebody else to step up, and there's no doubt in my mind that they will. Be it Xavier Cedeno with maybe a little bit higher leveraged innings later in the game. We saw Alex Colomé last night strike out the side on 11 pitches with really, really plus stuff. Brandon Gomes is on a nice little roll. Steve Geltz is on a nice little roll. These are all guys that are capable of pitching and pitching effectively later in the game, and they're just going to get more of a chance to do it now.
This marks the 23rd time a Rays player has been placed on the DL. Only the Rangers and Rockies have more this season. With 3 minutes till first pitch, the Rays hoping for some good fortune on a getaway game from Houston. When we come back, Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with the call. Rays and Astros coming up.
Rays have now lost a major league high 10 games in walk-off fashion, suffering a couple of those defeats here on this stop in Houston. So tonight, with the hard-throwing right-hander Chris Archer going to the hill, they're looking to turn that trend around. Rays come in 59-61, 4 games back now in the wild card race. Here's the lineup. Kevin Cash is put together, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Leading off, the designated hitter John Jaso. Grady Sizemore hits second, followed by Evan Longoria. James Loney in the cleanup spot. He's at first. At second base, Logan Forsythe, as Drupal Cabrera will hit sixth and play short. Desmond Jennings in left, Kevin Kiermaier in center, and the catcher Rene Rivera batting ninth.
Well, and this lineup will be going up against right-hander Colin McHugh, making his 25th start of the season. And the win-loss record outstanding. The ERA a little bit high. However, Colin McHugh has gone back to basics. He's gone back more four-seamer, less cutter, and his last three outings have been fantastic across the board as he is 1-1, but with a 1.80 earned run average and more than a strikeout an inning. Let's take a look at the Astro defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Preston Tucker, Carlos Gomez returns, and Colby Rasmus. And across that infield third to first, Luis Valbuena switches corner spots. Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Marwin Gonzalez with Jason Castro back behind the plate.
Immediately following this game, the Rays will head west and open a series against the Oakland A's. They'll be there over the weekend and then return home. Rays will open the homestand next to Tropicana Field with the Minnesota Twins coming in. The Twins and Kansas City up next on the homestand. And John Jaso set to lead it off against the right-hander Colin McHugh. Jaso got into the game last night as a pinch hitter. And here he is. First pitch of this game from McHugh is upstairs. So we are underway. That first pitch presented by Pinch a Penny. Will be handled by Correa. And Jaso hitting into the shift is the first out.
Well, he hit that ball hard, but that's exactly why you move those infielders around. You think a base hit up the middle, but that's exactly where Carlos Correa is situated, where he continues to stay here. As you're going to see Grady Sizemore, and you've got that picket fence on the right side.
Grady Sizemore, and the shift on for him as well. First pitch is a strike. Well, McHugh has turned out to be quite an addition since the Astros claimed him off the waiver list from the Colorado Rockies in December of 2013. He was an 11-game winner for them last year. He went 11-9 and already has 13 victories this year.
And I think that he felt that, you know, he developed a cutter, started to fall in love with it, used it a little bit too much, and it took away from the four-seam fastball. And that is what has played with that curveball that's led to his success. The good four-seamer that he can elevate, the curveball off of that, occasional cutter. But earlier in the season, too many cutters, and he's cut back on that pitch and started to throw the ball very well.
Yeah, that's something that Brent Strom, the Houston pitching coach, convinced him made a lot of sense to go heavy with that four-seamer and with his breaking stuff. There's Brent Strom, the former lefty.
And we see that with Nathan Carnes. You know, the way that his four-seam fastball pairs very well with the hammer curveball.
Foul ball holds the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
And see that this is how you set it up. I think that was a cutter there, but it was still elevated. And now you can come right off of that with that curveball down in the zone. The ability to take it down below the zone with a lot of depth to try to get swings and misses. See if that's what they go with.
And it's down and in, the curveball. 2-2. And he has a very good curveball.
It'll get you with depth it'll get you with change of speed.
And that pitch close. Fastball misses, and it's 3-2.
Tries to freeze Grady Sizemore, and certainly it was close, borderline pitch.
Chopper to the right side, handled unassisted down there by Gonzalez. 2 up and 2 down.
Well, you can already see Colin McHugh has a nice feel for pitching. One pitch, setting up the other pitch, climbing the ladder, back to the curveball, to the outside corner, little cutter in. That's what he's going to do, move the ball around the zone and make these Rays hitters account for everything.
He really does pitch with the fastball being the secondary pitch for him. A lot of breaking stuff. Here in Houston, they talk about the curveball that he has having great spin, more than what that normal curveball might have. Pitch now 1-1. He's come back a little bit more since he's relied on that four-seamer. But there was a point where, that, as you mentioned earlier, he did fall in love with the cutter, and they saw a lot of that. Not now.
Well, and what it was doing was, especially to the right-handed hitter, he was cutting that ball right into the barrel, and it's a little, it's like a hanging slider, and just too many hard-hit balls.
Fly ball lifted into center, and Gomez is there to make the catch. 3 up and 3 down for the Rays. We go to the bottom of the inning. No score. The Astros lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jose Altuve leads it off, followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Carlos Correa, the shortstop. Kobe Rasmus hits cleanup in front of Carlos Gomez. Then Evan Gattis, the DH. Luis Valbuena, Preston Tucker, and Jason Castro, 7, 8, and 9.
Well, Chris Archer out there on the mound tonight here for the Tampa Bay Rays, making his 26th start of the season, looking to rebound from a subpar outing his last time out against the Rangers, where they really came out and ambushed Chris. And you've got to expect that this Houston Astro lineup, every bit as aggressive, will try to look to do the same thing.
Jose Altuve, the 9th leading hitter in the American League, 4th in total hits. Pitch is up and in.
I like it, starting the game off with a brushback. Serving notice already.
That's a ball. Fastball away. 2-0. And you're right about this Houston lineup. It'll be interesting how they approach this and how Archer approaches the lineup.
We've seen the changeup take center stage in this series for Rays pitchers, and for good reason. Effective pitch against this lineup.
Well, that's something that Archer has, but we haven't seen a lot of it lately from him.
No. You know, you go back to that Boston game where he gave up a couple of home runs early in that game on early count changeups, and since then he's kind of gone away from that pitch.
And there's ball 4. He walks Altuve on 4 pitches to start this game here in the bottom of the first.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up tonight. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Jennings, Kiermaier, and Sizemore. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney, with Rene Rivera behind the plate.
Marwin Gonzalez up in the number 2 spot. And there's 5 straight pitches out of the zone from Archer to begin his start. That draws a visit from Rene Rivera.
Well, yeah, trying to just get him locked back in. You know, you don't see Chris Archer miss too many fastballs. He'll miss one every now and then, but usually very quick to make the adjustment. So far, that has not been the case, and some of these misses have been pretty bad.
That's a strike. It's 1-1. Four career starts for Archer against Houston, and has never given up more than 2 earned runs in any of those starts. There's a strike. Now 1-2. Archer pitched 5 1/3 against Texas 5 days ago. Gave up 7 earned runs, 8 total, while making 98 pitches. Texas won that game 12-4. And he takes care of Gonzalez, strikes him out.
Well, these Houston Astro hitters, because they strike out so much, they're really going to want to get after Chris Archer early, because he's one of the best in the game at being able to put you away with 2 strikes. And you see why. That slider with curveball depth, slider speed, devastating.
Well, Rays pitchers fanned 19 hitters last night, gave up just a couple of walks in what unfortunately turned out to be a 3-2 13-inning loss. Carlos Correa up here now. He got the base hit last night in the 13th to end this thing.
Now, this Houston Astro team has walked off wins in 3 of their last 4 games. And it's been their number 1, number 2, and number 3 hitters that have delivered those big hits.
There's a cut and a miss. Altuve finished off their series against Detroit in the get, chasing home the winning run, and then Gonzalez with the big home run 2 nights ago. Correa with the big hit last night. Correa just 20 years old, and you see where he ranks among major league shortstops since his call-up. He's first right up and down those categories.
The graphic speaks for itself. He's awfully talented, plays a much more mature game than his age would suggest.
It's 1-2. walk and a strikeout. Archer trying to settle into this game here in the bottom of the first. Out of play. Slider, and the count is still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that's the one thing to watch for. If you want something to try to pick out, it's pitch selection by Archer. How many times does he go to the slider early in counts, early in the game, to try to get these guys off the fastball, which I don't know if you can ever get this lineup off the fastball.
And there's a strike call on the outside corner. That one in around 96. And Correa caught looking.
Yeah, and I think Correa, or at least the Astro dugout, is saying, well, wait a minute. We had one of those that did not go our way. That pitch borderline, but just off the plate. Archer gets the call.
A.J. Hinch shaking his head a bit in the Houston dugout.
They're saying, yeah, that was the Colin McHugh fastball to Grady Sizemore.
Colby Rasmus late on the mid-90s fastball. Rasmus has 4 hits and 14 at-bats against Archer, including a double, but he struck out 8 of the 14 times he's logged official at-bats against the Rays right-hander. And it's 1-1. And Archer here, just a handful of pitches, but still you get the feeling he's not exactly where he wants to be yet.
That was Dallas Keuchel last night. You know, as precise as he is, he really was struggled with command in that first inning. Now, 2nd through 6th, he was dialed in and as good as we've seen him.
The cut and a miss. Runner's going to try to advance, and the throw down will get him. Altuve cut down to end the inning with Rasmus still in the batter's box, so he'll lead off the bottom of the 2nd as Rivera throws out Altuve. We're through an inning, no score. Let's go places. By Outback Steakhouse Curbside Takeaway. Order online at Outback.com. And by Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. Rays trying to make it happen here in Houston and get out of town with a split in this 4-game series. James Loney will begin the 2nd, facing right-hander Colin McHugh. The strike. Loney hitting against the shift. One lone defender on the left side of the infield. Down and in, 1-1.
A little slow. A little slow. Didn't get to the stylus in time.
Two and one. Well, McHugh 11-9 last year in 25 starts. This is his 25th start of this season, and he has a record of 13-6. Ground ball. Altuve, middle of the right side, and makes the play. Well, Logan Forsythe is going to be the hitter, and our Buick big matchup, a 4-game hitting streak over which he is 7 of 16. Forsythe a couple more hits in last night's game. He had 2 hits in the game on Tuesday and was on base 4 times Monday in the first game of this series. One of those times he reached on an error, had a base hit, and 2 walks in that game. Charged by Correa. The glove in the throw. Oh, out the call over there. Joe West on the call. Forsythe will be out number 2.
Well, that ball was not hit that hard. That forces Correa to have to come a ways to get it. Logan Forsythe can scoot up the baseline. And so here's your play. And it's going to be close. Got to get rid of it. Just did get him. A little assist over there from Marwin Gonzalez.
The bases are empty. Hughes retired the first 5 to face him, 4 on ground balls. And now it's Cabrera who starts the night hitting .264. Cabrera hitless last night. 1-1. Again with the breaking stuff, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Hugh, 28 years old, went to Berry College in Georgia by way of Covington, Georgia. Grew up a Braves fan. Like a lot of pitchers his age, focused on those great starters the Braves had. Maddox, Glavine, Smiley over there. The miss. So Cabrera's out on strikes. Curveball takes care of him. 3 up, 3 down, no score. Rays wrapping up their series against the Astros. Take a look at our Toyota trends. The Rays pitching staff in 6 games against the Astros in the season series. The ERA for the rotation for the bullpen, excellent. They've held them to just 122 with runners in scoring position. Well, the Astros have walked off a couple here in the last 2 games of this particular series.
Those numbers completely due to game planning and execution. The Rays have a great game plan against this lineup.
Rasmus on the ground to the right side, and Forsythe takes care of that.
There's so many hitters up and down this Astro lineup that are cut from the same mold. They're young, they're aggressive, they want to swing at the fastball. So what Rays pitchers have done is a lot of off speeds, specifically the changeup. For some guys like Brandon Gomes, the split, but it's the pitch that will mimic the fastball that never gets there that gives this lineup trouble. So they'll hit some home runs, but they punch out a lot, and there's a lot of holes in swings.
Carlos Gomez. He's hitting .262 with Milwaukee. 197 so far in a Houston uniform. And the cut and the miss for a strike. Gomez with the Mets organization originally. Now 1 ball, 1 strike. Up to the big leagues briefly with the Mets, then the Twins and the Brewers, and now here in Houston. Down to third it goes. Longoria with the routine throw. 2 up and 2 down. Bring up the designated hitter, Evan Gattis. Oh, Gattis is hitting .238 with 18 home runs and very, very strong. Ball and no strikes.
You can see here in the early going the body language of Chris Archer, not happy at all with his fastball command. And trying to figure it out here on the fly.
Strike call. 1-1. Two and 1. You know, we talked about the other night Gattis with those 9 triples. This tends to be a pretty good triples ballpark. But Gattis with 9 still stands out when you think of the rest of his teammates combined have 7. So everybody else on the team 7, he has 9.
And let's take it a little further, because I like where your head's at right now. So he has 9, the rest of the team 7. The rest of the team leads the American League in stolen bases, so they can run. He has no stolen bases, but 9 triples.
Yep.
They have fewer triples as a team, but lead the league in stolen bases.
And there is strike 3 call. Slider got him looking, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. On to the third, scoreless. strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SS Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Desmond Jennings set to open the third. And there's a base hit up the right field side. Jennings down to first as Rasmus gets to the ball. And that's the first hit of this game. So with Jennings at first and nobody out, let's hear from Rich Hollenberg. Rich, what's up?
Well, guys, just to pay off your conversation about Evan Gattis earlier, why am I holding up 3 fingers? Well, that's the kind of picture Evan Gattis wanted to take with Kevin Kiermaier when the team came to town. He's so proud to be part of this triples club that Kevin Kiermaier is the captain of, obviously leading the league in triples, that he wanted to document it in picture form so it lives forever. They're part of the triples club.
Lives forever.
Here is Kevin Kiermaier. And when it comes to that triples club, these guys really are the odd couple. Kiermaier with 11 and Gattis with 9.
Yeah, I'm still not sure that I even believe that stat. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Another look at a pitch away. 3-0 now. Kiermaier takes it for a strike. It's 3-1. Runner goes, and there is ball 4. So Jennings on the move. A single and a walk, and the Rays have put the first 2 men on against McHugh.
Well, the first 2 innings, Colin McHugh, I don't think he made a mistake. He was so locked in. A first pitch fastball that Jennings shoots the other way, then a 5-pitch walk to Kevin Kiermaier here at the bottom of the order. Boy, now you wonder what the Rays thinking about here. Rivera at the plate. McHugh not a big time ground ball pitcher, but is able to get him when he needs him. And that's what he'd be looking for right here. Luis Valbuena maybe thinking bunt. He's in on the grass. And so is Marwin Gonzalez.
And he shows the bunt, takes the pitch for a ball. One and one. So the Rays, with the first scoring opportunity of the game, trying to cash in on the leadoff single and the following walk. Some speed on the bases. A bunt. It's going to advance the runners. McHugh with the pickup. So Jennings goes to third, and Kiermaier up to second base on the sacrifice. McHugh to Gonzalez, the first baseman. on the put out of Rivera. So 2 men in scoring position for the top of the order.
Well, asked to bunt, let's get it down and execute. And Rene Rivera getting to that ball down. He pops it out right into a nice safe area. Easy move up for the Rays base runners. And that was well done. Now cash it in.
Chiso with 13 runs batted in, and there's the breaking ball for a strike on the first pitch. Chiso 8 of 16 with men in scoring position, and he pops this one up. The curveball and in foul territory. Well, Brena at third makes the catch.
Well, that's such a big weapon for McHugh because it covers so much ground top to bottom. You think about Nathan Karn's curveball, he throws it harder, it's got good depth, but not this kind of depth. Slow curve. And like I said, it can get you out 2 different ways. The change of speed gets you out in front. You got to contend with how much that pitch breaks.
Yeah, slow in velocity, but high in the revolutions, the spin, so he gets a lot of depth to it. Grady Sizemore. And the pitch, Castro makes the stop there.
Boy, that was a nice stop, too, because that curveball is diving down behind Grady Sizemore. Castro moving to his right. He almost screened out here, too. And he does a nice job with the scoop.
Pop foul back. Another play it goes. The count is 1-1. Takes the count to 1-2. Fouled in behind Rocco Baldelli and beyond.
Colin McHugh, he has so many different ways to attack you. We've seen him backdoor the cutter to the left-handed hitter. We've seen it cut it in on their hands. The slow curveball, the four-seam fastball to both sides of the plate. It makes for a difficult at-bat. You just got to hope that he makes a mistake out over the plate. And if he does, you don't miss him.
Goes up with the fastball. A different look there, up.
And then down with the curve. Change your eye level, let you see the four-seamer up high, and then drop the slow curve. Try to drop it below the zone.
Two-two. Curveball, and it's lined foul into the seats.
Didn't get it below the zone. I mean, that's what you're doing. I mean, you can see how he's setting these sequences up. You know, he throws that fastball up at the letters, and you're thinking, well, if you want to swing at it, great. But if you don't, it sets you up for this pitch. But he hung it. And Grady a little too quick. That's where Grady, he goes after a pitch that's hanging in the zone, but the change of speed causes him to be way out in front.
Ooh, very close there on the fastball. Fans hoot and holler.
Hey,
and A.J. Hinch shaking his head again here in the third inning.
You got a blind spot away to the lefties. That is right there. And look at Grady, even almost took a step towards the dugout. I think he was expecting to get rung up there. New life.
So full count. And that is ball 4, and Sizemore wanted to make sure that That was ball 4. So the bases are loaded.
Well, you get away with what could have been an inning-ending strikeout. Turn it into a walk and get Longoria to the plate with the bases juiced.
Evan is 0 for 9 in his career against McHugh with 4 strikeouts, including the fly ball to center tonight. A big opportunity for that first hit off this right hand. And he hits a high fly ball back into deep left. Tucker backs up in front of the wall with room and makes the catch. Evan, a towering fly ball to left. And Tucker had just enough room. The Rays leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Rays invite you to participate in the world's largest mustache party Friday, August 28th, when the Rays take on the Royals. All fans receive a Rays rally stash presented by the Dali Museum while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up.
Did you see that?
That guy is ready for it.
You could do pull-ups on that thing. I mean, he'll get you.
Well, he had to have that size of hat to keep his mustache protected from the rain. And it's just wide enough, that brim. In fact, that one side of it might have gotten a drop or two of rain and wilted a little bit on it.
That is impressive. Well, I mean, the mustache. That pitch was pretty impressive, too. And he doesn't look like he wants to mess with anybody, or nobody wants to mess with him. He's not going to put up with your guff. I wonder how long that took for him to put that together.
And then keep it that way. Preston Tucker pops it up on the first pitch. Longoria in to make the catch. 2 gone.
Hey! Look, we got a little repeat. Yesterday's ball game. Nathan Carnes, Preston Tucker, first at bat, first pitch changeup pop up. Same thing Archer does to him. We're gonna start this again. Well, see what he does his next at bat. Well, it really is. It's amazing, this Rays pitching staff and the way that they've gone after this Astro lineup. We saw the numbers earlier. They're just stellar across the board. Starters, relievers, up and down.
Jason Castro fouling a mid-90s fastball away.
That's why that you wonder about this Astro team, if they're able to get into the playoffs, going up against a playoff rotation with, you know, the playoff preparation, because they can be pitched to, and we've seen that. You can really nullify their power by getting your pitches to good spots.
And here Archer, whose approach has been that way so far, but here it's gone with a couple of fastballs to throw him by Castro. See Houston up by 2.5 over the Angels.
Well, you're going to have guys, you know, in a lineup where you say, yeah, he hunts the fastball, but he can't get to mine. Now, you look for it all you want. You're not going to be able to do anything about it if I put it in the spot that I want.
Count holds to the ball and 2 strikes on the Houston catcher. Archer walked Altuve to open the first inning on 4 pitches, and then struck out Gonzalez and Correa. They threw out Altuve for the 3rd out of the inning as he was attempting to move into second. And a 1-2-3 second. First 2 men retired in the 3rd. Jason Castro with a count of 2-2. And after getting ahead 0-2, it's now a full count. And he got him. Fastball strikes him out. That's 5 strikeouts for Archer. By Geico, June 28, 2007, Astros great Craig Biggio became the 27th player to reach the 3,000 hit plateau. And earlier this summer, Biggio was enshrined into the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown. 3,060 career hits, 4 Gold Gloves, a 7-time All-Star. You know, there's a guy who went from catching to second base to center field and was outstanding at all of those positions.
That's the amazing part of it. The numbers are fantastic, of course, but where he accumulated those numbers, catching, middle infield, center field. That's just absurd.
Oh, look at the backhand stop by McHugh on the comebacker by Loney. And he throws him out. Well, McHugh found that ball backhanded right into his glove.
And Biggio in his career absurd, and so was this. How about that? He just put it back there, you hoping, and the call is answered. Nonchalant too. Too cool. Like I had that the whole way.
Make a play like that, make a little turn, prance it over halfway to the bag.
The key when it does go into the glove is you can't act too surprised.
That's right. And he didn't.
No. Great sell job. Here it is.
Yeah, just routine, an underhanded toss. It's all good. Logan Forsythe lifts this pitch down the right side, and Rasmus had a little difficulty tracking it tentatively as he got near the low wall, and it falls. A foul ball.
Yeah, that's the key, Dwayne. Tentatively. An interesting route to get there, but a play that Colby will tell you that he should have absolutely made. He's got a beat on it there and just whiffs on it.
There's that base hit through the left side, and Logan Forsythe is aboard, picking up the second hit for the Rays.
Well, you can't give guys extra opportunities. Should have been retired on a foul pop-up up the line.
Well, last night it was Forsythe, remember, in the 7th inning, who had that extended at bat. And one of the pitches was a similar situation down the right side. He eventually came up with a base hit, and that led to 2 runs for the Rays in the 7th inning. Now a 1-out single for Logan in the 4th, and here's Asdrubal Cabrera. One ball, no strikes. Two and nothing. Ball game in the 4th. 1 on, 1 out for the Rays against Houston right-hander Colin McHugh. The Rays faced McHugh on the 10th of July at Tropicana Field and beat him 3-1. Two and 1. Pitched 7 innings in that game, gave up the 3 runs on 4 hits. Two count. There's one deep but well foul. He had good distance, Cabrera, but it was foul from the get-go. mentioned at the outset, 13 wins for McHugh. 7 of those have come in his last 11 starts, and in 10 of those 11 starts, he's given up 3 or fewer earned runs. So he's been on a good stretch here for this Houston club. Even the one outing against the Angels when he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, he picked up a 10-5 win in that game. Look out, a shot foul into the photographer's area. The Braves had an opportunity in the 3rd. They left the bases loaded, trying to build something in the 4th inning with Forsythe aboard and 1 out. We have a full count.
Well, and now you put Logan Forsythe in motion. I would tend to think, yes, you're going to try to be aggressive. You think about Colin McHugh striking out Cabrera, it would probably have to be on the curveball, a slower pitch. Expect Logan to run.
He's gone and slipped.
Yep.
And he'll get back in as Cabrera is out on strikes. He was absolutely going, and then lost his footing, and then had to get back to first on the strikeout of Cabrera.
Well, and McHugh, here he goes. You see right there, you don't get the jump, you don't continue on, you're going to run right into an out. And that's why Logan quickly heads back. He would have not have gone well for the Rays.
Those 2 outs, and Forsythe remains at first. Desmond Jennings opened the 3rd with a single, advanced to 3rd, and was left there when the Rays left the bases loaded. So strike on the corner. Cut the miss, ball popping away, and that will get Forsythe down to second base.
Well, the slow curveball, Desmond first of all couldn't stay back on it on the swing, and then it gets into the dirt and away from Castro.
Well, here it is, a wild pitch charge to McHugh. It's his 4th of the year. The count is 1-1, says DJ Rayburn. The Astros having a conversation, and now Rayburn concurs that it is 0-2. The breaking ball fouled through the coaching box. Ball, 2 strikes,
and all that pitch was just to get Desmond Jennings' eyes to chase that ball up, change an eye level. That was not a competitive pitch at all. You're just trying to get the hitter to see something up in the zone, and
then come back with that.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that combo? You know, if you're a hitter up there, you almost have to sell out. If you see that heater behind in the count, way up, he's going to come with a curveball on the next pitch.
There's a base hit into right center field. Forsythe heads to the plate, and Jennings drives in the first run of this game. 1-0 Rays.
Now it was a cutter away. That's the pitch that has given him trouble against right-handed hitters, and he went with it here. Exhausted all the other options. Comes with the cutter, and Desmond able to just soft serve it into right center field. Actually, you could hear it cracked his bat, hit it right off the end. But who cares? It finds grass. The Rays find a lead.
Well, that wild pitch putting Forsythe on at second base, and the Rays cash in on the base hit from Jennings, who draws a throw. Kevin Kiermaier's in the batter's box. He walked in the third, batting again in the fourth. Opening breaking ball, and that's strike. And he had to wait on that one. Come on. Right back to McHugh. He knocked it down and picks it up and throws him out. How about that?
And he's stumbling off the mound. He still delivered the ball to the plate, and he gets an out out of it. I've never seen anything like that.
Here it is. Watch this.
He gets it in the zone. That changes speed.
So the Rays settle for a run and take the lead. For the fourth, let's take a look at the final out there in the fourth. That's something you're not going to see every day.
Well, and here's the thing. You got to take a quick poll right now. What was more impressive? McHugh hanging on to make the pitch, or the fact that Kiermaier swings at it?
Well, you set something like that in motion, and you by instinct have to be a participant, and that's what Kiermaier was. He stumbled off the mound, McHugh, and still managed to deliver a pitch pretty close to the strike zone, and Kiermaier's swinging.
It might have been a cold strike.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely.
Now here's a little roller up the third base side. Longoria smartly decides to see if it'll roll foul, and it does. That's a strike on Jose Altuve.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids, this is called baseball IQ. A swinging bunt, and Evan realizes, boy, he could beat this, sees it, and then is able to pull off and let that thing roll foul. That is thinking on your feet.
Altuve, who walked in the first inning, and then eventually out at second. They call that out advancing. And he shoots this one well foul. 0-2. Well, that shows you how this lineup reacts to the fastball. He couldn't wait for it. Right there, that's fastball around 94 miles an hour.
Get the head out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was well foul.
I mean, this team loves to hunt that fastball. It's almost as if you give them a couple other pitches, a little off speed, a little movement here and there, and they see a fastball, they're jumping out of their shoes after it. And he chases the slider right there. And that's going to be strikeout number 6 for Archer.
Didn't think we would see another one of those swings from Altuve after what Colomé did to him last night. But again, the awkward swing, not recognizing the late action on that nasty slider.
Well, that's 200 strikeouts now on the season for Archer. And in Rays history, joining Scott Kazmir, James Shields, David Price, and now Archer joining the 200 strikeout club.
I'll tell you what, he's got a chance to eclipse Kazmir at 249. He's going to have plenty of opportunities. A month and a half left in the regular season.
Both Price and Archer a couple of 200 plus strikeout seasons, and Scott Kazmir, his big strikeout year for the Rays in 2007. The bunt foul. 2 strikes the count on Gonzalez.
Well, a team that likes to swing the bat, once you start seeing things like that, they're letting you know your stuff is nasty. Hitting you is going to be difficult here tonight, so we're going to have to try anything to get a base runner, especially now that we're down a run.
Popped up. Loney after this one, waiting for it. 2 gone. So the bases are empty. Come to the Trop Sunday, August 30th. The Rays play the Royals, and kids 14 and under receive a DJ Kitty drawstring bag presented by All Children's Hospital Johns Hopkins Medicine while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Carlos Correa called out on strikes his first time. And the pitch is away to him. Well, Archer has faced the minimum number of hitters 2 outs into the 4th. Gave up a walk to Altuve to start the game. And he was erased in the bottom of the 1st. 2-0 the count to the young shortstop. Oh, 2-1. Baseball put into play. Houston in 11 games over 500. This is the best record they've had this late into the season since 2001. broken bat, and it will be caught by Forsythe. Nice job angling out from second base. Correa sacrificed the bat and is out number 3. Here's a look on a nice catch by Forsythe.
At Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. What better place to tell you about a big upcoming promotion that's coming up at the Trop? Saturday, August 29th. My right-hand man here, my sidekick, Kevin Kiermaier, a.k.a. The Outlaw. His action figure will be given away to all the Rays fans who show up. But as of right now here in Houston, he's going to help me clear this train of all the oranges they have on board. I traded in my 6-shooter for this Fox Sports microphone. All I need, Dwayne, are your cowboy boots, and I'll be set.
And look at Kiermaier there, the Outlaw, and keeping to that theme, boarding the train and away with the heist.
And I got to tell you guys, I thought I had one of the best jobs in sports. Bobby the engineer standing right next to me. He has got one of the coolest jobs in all of sports. This is 800 feet of track and nearly 50,000 pounds of train that goes back and forth here.
The train out
Give
there.
him away, Bobby. There he is.
There he is.
We've been busy this year, too.
You could say that again.
2 strikes the count on Rivera. And he takes it into right field. Going to fall in front of Rasmus. So Rivera is aboard. So this ballpark built adjacent to the old train station downtown Houston. So, of course, you had to have a train and those tracks out there in left field.
I love how they do that. I love how, you think about Oriole Park at Camden Yards and how it was built. You got the building in the background. It matches up, and they take the local neighborhood, and the unique characteristics of the neighborhood are then built into the ballpark. That's pretty cool.
And they've turned that into offices just back beyond that foul pole there. Like the Orioles and the warehouse over at Camden Yards. Part of the train station. Braves with the leadoff man on in the 5th. Jaso down 0-2 right now in the count. High fly ball to the opposite field. Tucker into the corner, and he has room to make the catch. And you're always kind of interested when a fly ball, whether it's hit well or not, is hit in that direction.
Yeah, well, it's so short, and it plays so short. And then when you talk about a ball that's moving towards the foul line, look at the lack of foul territory. I mean, you've got a half a step before you eat that wall. Well, you go back to the fly ball by Evan Longoria, what could have been a 4-run lead for the Rays. But he hit that ball straight up, straight in the air, and it was nail-biting time here for Astro fans. Fell just short.
Grady Sizemore. Fastball up, and he fouls it back. Strike one. Rays have the only run of this game. That came in the 4th inning, driven home by Desmond Jennings. One and one in the season series. The Rays have won 4 and lost 2 to the Astros. Those 2 losses here, tough losses the last 2 nights. There's a shot to right field. Rasmus, though, to his right and back a couple steps, makes the catch. Sizemore is the second out. In this game tonight and all season, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Two outs in the 5th with Rene Rivera still at first, and here is Evan Longoria. Curveball stayed upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
That curveball we've seen all night long. It's been so difficult for Rays hitters to stay back on it. When they've made good contact with it, they've yanked it into the stands, hit it well foul.
And now strike with a fastball. 1-1. Well, that first curveball here to Longoria, not much depth. It was up, but you know, you're right. It has, normally speaking, great depth and off speed. There's a ground ball right side. Altuve to his left with the pickup, and the Rays get the leadoff hit, but leave a man on. Through 4.5, 1-0 Rays. Through 4 has been very good, as it turns out.
You know, a little bit early on, he was trying to find the rhythm with the fastball, get it into the zone consistently. The slider really saved the day the first inning and a half. Well, since then, he's gotten better with the fastball. He's stayed really good with the slider. A couple of changeups, but for the most part, it's been the fastball-slider combination.
.50 pitches on the night for Archer. There's Kobe Rasmus leading off the bottom of the 5th. It's pop foul. That's going to carry into the seats. A look over at third by Longoria, but well fouled and out of play. Rasmus, then Gomez, and Gaddis do. Ground ball, and that's going to go into right for a leadoff single. Well, the Rays had the shift on, and Rasmus managed to get it through. That's the first hit of the night given up by Archer.
Well, Archer supplies so much power that, you know, if you could just get the barrel to the baseball, it's going to jump. Nice short compact swing. You see how they have him defense, but you have to hit it hard to get it through the shift, and that's what Rasmus did. Leadoff man aboard.
Carlos Gomez, and he misses the slider. And a good one right there with late break. Strike one. Center. A lot of territory out there, and Kiermaier makes the catch. And then the throw. Boy, what a nice throw back into second base. Wow.
Why? You don't even think about running. I mean, strong arm and accurate. This ball put a charge into it, but no chance here. But then watch this. Pretty nonchalant.
You know, and even there, a nice job of getting behind that throw by setting up properly to make the catch.
I'll tell you, he flat out is the best center fielder in baseball. The amount of ground that he covers, the jumps that he gets, the fact that his arm is a huge weapon, the way that he backs up plays, helps out the other outfielders. He's the best in the game. It's not close.
It's covered up by Rivera. 2-0. Yeah, he's everywhere on that field. And truly, and the point you make about backing up plays, it's one thing to just patrol left center and right center and all spots in between, in, back, but he's there to back up plays coming from the outfield sometimes with some action on the infield.
He does the little things that don't get noticed. You know, they don't get noticed. We try to point them out as much as we can because they should get noticed, but you know, not going to make any highlight reels and backing plays up, but that's what he does all the time.
Into center field. Kiermaier back to the track with a little leap, makes the catch, and that's the second out. Gaddis, a very strong man with that bat in his hand, hit that one straight away center. Kiermaier is there. 2 gone.
That was a rocket shot, and Kiermaier up catch. Did he get both feet in? I don't know.
Yeah, when it comes to effort on the field and the way he plays this game, what a great example for every young kid who's playing this game or aspires to play it. Ground ball down to first by Valbuena, unassisted by Loney. A base hit, the man left, and we're headed into the 6th. 1-0 Rays. The only run of this contest came in the fourth, driven in by Desmond Jennings, chasing home Logan Forsythe, who had singled with one out, was wild pitch to second. And Chris Archer has been outstanding, settling in the first. Certainly found himself tonight.
Well, that's been the name of the game. He's given up the one hit to Colby Rasmus. That was the lead off the last half inning. Retires the next 3 hitters and nurses this 1-run lead into the 6th.
And in this 6th inning, James Loney will lead off against Colin McHugh. Loney with a couple ground ball outs. And the breaking ball, that one's sub 70. 1 ball, no strikes.
How far is he going to take it down? We've seen the majority of them in that 73 range. Those have been tough to stay back on.
The strike, it's 1-1. Two and 1. McHugh, 28 years old, and he's one of the few pitchers who wears a protective headgear inset inside his cap. It's described as a Kevlar pad, and a high school teammate of his developed that, and he's comfortable with it. Very difficult to detect that he has any kind of protective headgear at all, and it does fit inside the cap and just to the one side where the head would be exposed after the delivery there on the right side, where most of that protective insert would be placed. Certainly different than some of the others we've seen, where it's still a pretty good size helmet-like protection up there. There's a shot foul into the seats. I guess that's one of the big keys about that. You know, you talk about balance. It's difficult enough, the mechanics of pitching, and you would know better than anybody, BA, how challenging something like that might be. But if you can get it lightweight enough to insert it in there, then it might be feasible. Yeah,
I mean, that'll be interesting to see how that continues to develop over time. You know what I would be interested in seeing? There's that slow curve, 72 miles an hour. I would be interested in seeing, of all the line drives that have been highlighted over the last couple of years that have hit pitchers in the head, how many have been up above the hat level? You know, like Brian Mitchell the other day gets hit in the face.
Yep.
Okay, the Kevlar pad, that's not helping it.
Yep.
You know, how many times you get hit like right below, right by the ear?
Yeah, and that's a dangerous spot.
You know, absolutely right. And that hat is only protecting the very top of your head. And there's not too many times that you see guys get hit up above the hat level. So, you know, where do you go from there? Do you start to build in a face mask? You know, I mean, I don't know where you would go, but it'd be interesting to see of all the line drives, how many of them were at hat level and up, as opposed to down a little bit lower than that.
Well, anything they come up with, whether it's that far reaching or not, it's going to have to be strong and lightweight, I would think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the last thing you want to do is feel like you're pitching out there with a football helmet on. But whatever they do come up with, you're going to have to introduce it, you know, down at the lower levels. And it's like anything else. Guys will adapt. And if it's something that is feasible and something that you can, you know, work with, then all of a sudden, the more that you wear it, the more comfortable you get, and then it becomes an afterthought.
Well, I guess he wears that, and the idea is that the protection that it gives is better than nothing, but it certainly is not all encompassing.
No.
Full count to Logan Forsythe. Logan has scored the run. He singled in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 tonight. And the breaking pitch there, and it's 3-2. That a little late action to it. A little harder than that slow curve. We've seen a few cutters from him tonight, but not as many as he normally uses. There's a high fly ball, but again, a lot of territory in center field. Gomez makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show. Presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Drew Smiley headed to the West Coast early. He'll open that series in Oakland. And Orestes will break down former Ray and now A's outfielder Super Sam Fold. Asdrubal Cabrera looking for his first hit tonight. Taps it foul. Rays have a run on 4 hits.
With a margin for error razor thin. I mean, you think about how the Rays got that run, that slow curveball, wild pitch that moved Logan up to second base. Desmond Jennings able to foul off a couple of pitches, take some other ones, and then he got a cutter and was able to flip it out into right center field. That's the game. The curveball in the dirt, the cutter off the end of the bat.
Two and one. Cabrera's out on strikes. Fastball got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1-0 Rays. To you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Checkers. Epic meals, epic deals. Rays scored a run in the 4th inning. The only run of the game. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Preston Tucker leads off. He takes the first pitch in there for a strike. Fastball around the knees. Archer popped him up to 3rd in the 3rd inning on an off-speed pitch. One and one. In the bottom of the 8th in New York, the Yankees trail Cleveland 3-1. Little nubber glove by Archer, and the throw to first in time to get Tucker leading off the 6th.
And you know what? We've seen a number of times where Chris Archer has struggled throwing to bases. And that one a little bit off balance, but he caught himself and made a nice, strong, firm throw right on the money to James Loney. This has been a trouble spot at times for Chris. And he's got to move off the mound, recover, step, and throw, and that ball was chest high right on the money.
Castro takes the pitch for a ball. Archer got ahead of him 0-2 in the 3rd. Then he went to 3-2 with him. And finally struck him out on a fastball, on a 3-2 fastball that really was not a strike. 1-1. And him out in front. Texas batting in the top of the 9th at Detroit, trailing the Tigers 4-0. 2 balls and a strike. Rays started the day 8.5 back in the East, 4 back in the wild card. Take a look at the wild card standings with Toronto and the Los Angeles Angels 1-2, Baltimore a half back, Texas a game and a half, and then the Rays and Minnesota each 4 back. Castro is out on strikes for the 2nd time. 7 strikeouts for Archer.
Oh, look at that. I mean, that you've got to be ready to commit so early because of the velocity on the fastball. And Chris Archer, he's another guy. You're talking about Colin McHugh and the way that he spins that curveball. Chris Archer can spin that slider. And so all of a sudden you're thinking, I got to protect against 96, get it started early, and then the thing starts to break, and you've got no shot.
Jose Altuve jumping nice play and a nice grab down there at the corner of the stands. That ball was hit hard.
Again, he's out in front on a fastball, and that young man right there just saved someone's lips.
It's a nice pair of glasses that guy has down there in the corner. He saved those.
Yeah, somebody was going to wear that.
It's 1-1. Altuve, one of 2 base runners given up by Archer tonight. Altuve walked in the 1st. The other hit a leadoff single by Rasmus in the 5th inning. And a strike call. 1-2. And he is out. That's a good hard slider right there. On to the 7th, 1-0. Rays fans here tonight. As promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #SSDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. And more Rays fans. Desmond Jennings to face Colin McHugh. 94 pitches for McHugh. The Rays got their run in the fourth, driven in by Desmond, and Jennings lifts the fly ball to center. And on one pitch, one out in the seventh. So that gives Jennings 2 for 3 on the day. 2 of the 4 hits allowed by McHugh. Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier walked in the third, out pitcher first in the fourth. One ball, no strikes. Two and 0 Rays with their 4 hits tonight. They had 10 hits last night in that 3-2 13-inning loss. They've had 10 or more hits in 15 of their last 20 games.
Pretty remarkable what they've been able to do offensively. Now those last 2 ball games that they dropped, they didn't get the job done with runners in scoring position. Gave themselves a lot of opportunities, didn't cash in, but
yeah, when you think about how long it took them prior to this latest run, those 10+ hits in 15 of 20 games, they had only 25 of those games in their first 100 contests of the season. So a marked difference when it comes to the offensive side of things for the Rays recently. We'll take the count to 3-2. Slow curve, low out of the zone.
Slow him down to then speed him up here.
A little tapper back to the hill. And Kiermaier's the second out. Action in the bullpen for Houston. The veteran left-hander Tony Sipp now throwing in the pen. Bases empty with 2 outs. Rene Rivera. Just a little over 100 pitches from McHugh. One of the hits by Rene Rivera that came in the 5th. A shot into left field, 1 hop and 2 to the wall. Rivera will be held to a single. Tucker getting that ball back toward the infield. Rivera has his second hit.
And that ball was hit very hard and well played by Preston Tucker out there in left field. He realizes that ball was blistered by Rene Rivera, so it's going to get to that short wall quick, and if he can make a play on it, you maybe can hold him to a single. And that's exactly what he did, but Rivera with a couple hits.
John Jaso, top of the order, up for the 4th time. Which is inside. Only 6 hits total in this game. The Rays have 5 of them. 1-1. A lot of missed hits against McHugh, and that results in balls that are softly struck.
Easier on the defense. Well, you go to the fact that he moves the fastball around. He's got that pitch as a change of pace, and then the cutter that, he tries to, get the baseball to miss the barrel of the bat. Coming in on the lefties, getting a lot of soft ground balls.
And the curveball strikes out Jaso. Bottom of the 7th coming. 1-0 Rays. For more information on to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com and buy your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays wrapping up this series in Houston, a 4-gamer, trying to get out of town even. They hold a 1-0 lead. The only run coming for the Rays in the 4th inning, driven home by Desmond Jennings. Chris Archer with 71 pitches tonight through 6. 8 strikeouts. Giving up 1 walk and 1 hit. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. 0 for 2 tonight. The ground ball headed right to Asdrubal Cabrera, and he throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th.
As you don't even want to say shaky, but Chris Archer was missing a lot early in the game, specifically the 1st inning. The slider bailed him out, but to have the pitch count in such good shape right now, with the 8 strikeouts, boy, he has really turned it around and become Mr. Efficient.
Yeah, 72 pitches, 1 out into the 7th inning. Carlos Correa lined out his last time. Pitch is down. It was a nice catch by Forsythe out at second base on the line drive of the young shortstop. 2-0. We've been impressed by Correa. He's, as a shortstop, pretty good size in terms of height and has good body control out there, well balanced. Down to third. Longoria with a long throw, and it's right there on the money. Correa is the 2nd out of the inning. A couple of quick outs here.
that's the thing with Chris Archer. If he's in the strike zone early, you would expect that. He's going to get his strikeouts, but you would expect a lot of balls being swung at and put in play early because nobody wants to get to 2 strikes. If you let him work a count 3-4 pitches in, get to 2 strikes, look at the strikeout numbers. He knows how to wipe you out. So you attack early, and if you attack early and he's executing, well.
This pitch down and into Kobe Rasmus. We talked about Archer. Of course, fastball, slider, and the occasional changeup. I'm not sure. I thought that 2-0 pitch to Correa might have been a changeup. He doesn't throw it a lot to right-handed hitters, mostly left-handed hitters. He got him on that ground ball to third. And now it's 1-1 on Rasmus. So he has had a little bit of a mix of changeups in there. Not overly prominent, but a handful of it.
Just, enough to make you think. Enough for you to have to account for.
Towering pop fly into center. Kiermaier waiting for this one. And it's a 1-2-3 7th. On to the 8th inning we go. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Chris Archer, 7 innings of 1-hit baseball and 1 walk to go with 8 strikeouts. Archer with 78 pitches to this point. Colin McHugh working the front 7 for Houston. He gave up a run on 5 hits, and Tony Sipp will take over on the mound for Houston.
Well, on for the 48th time, more than a strikeout an inning. Opponents average below 200.
Well, Grady Sizemore due to lead off, but we're going to have a pinch hitter. Brandon Guyer in there to open the 8th against the lefty Sipp. That's a strike. Sizemore was 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Piece of that one foul. Advances the count to 2 strikes. Evan Longoria next, and then James Loney due. Chris Archer, 7 shutout innings to this point. And a great pitch count. The Rays are to win this one, at least to this point. It's going to take a shutout. They got the 1 run in the 4th inning. They've left 6 men on base. Ground ball by the mound, and right there positioned perfectly. Altuve. So Geyer's the first out in the 8th. Archer does have 2 career shutouts. They would represent his complete game total. He shut out the Yankees in July of 2013 through a 2-hitter against them. And the other shutout came that same month, a couple of weeks earlier in July in 2013, when he threw a 5-hit shutout against the Astros. Longoria picked up by Correa, and the throw is wide. And Evan has a base hit, sharply hit. Correa got over there and made the nice pickup. And that's a base hit for Longoria.
He's showing good range for how big he is. But this is going to take a special throw. And he just kind of carried it with him. And that's going to pull Gonzalez off the bag. Great effort.
So Longoria's aboard. James Loney. There's a strike. Loney, a couple of ground ball outs. He struck out his last time. Now facing the left-hander. It's 1-1. Sip pitched 2 innings in the game here Monday. 2 scoreless innings. And he's up on Loney in the count. It's Longoria back in at first. The Tigers beat Texas. It's a 4-0 final. It's now 2-2.
Not biting. Not biting at that slider. Well, Tony Sipp, that's what he likes to do against these left-handed hitters. Get ahead and then put them away with the slider.
The 2-2. Base hit through the open left side. Longoria makes the turn, and the throw to third is wide, but it's backed up by Sipp on the carom off the front of the dugout. Well, Longoria thought about it, and Gomez made a bad throw to third.
Yeah, well, and he made that throw because Evan Longoria gave him a lot to think about. He took such an aggressive turn at second base that he forced the throw that ended up wide. Boy, nice job by James Loney taking that slider the other way with all that room. And then he sees Evan Longoria with an aggressive turn. Fortunate that ball didn't go into the Rays dugout. And here it is. Push him just a little bit. Here we go.
Two men on with one out, and here's Logan Forsythe. Logan has scored the only run of the game to this point. He singled with one out in the fourth and eventually was driven home by Desmond Jennings. Now to play the other way. The second level. It's a ball and a strike. Rays left the bases loaded in the third inning. Single men in the fourth and fifth, and again in the seventh. Two men aboard in the eighth. Too wide. Breaking pitch stayed outside. 2-1. Chad Qualls, the veteran right-hander, up in the bullpen for Houston. That's going to be a strike on a fastball. 2-2. Sip struck out Forsythe in his outing here Monday. Now the 2-2, and he strikes him out here in the eighth inning tonight.
And Logan, he got an off-speed pitch. It was away. And he tried to stay back and ended up just missing it on the swing. You know, the Rays obviously looking to increase this lead here. And one of your better hitters at the plate, and that was just a swing and a miss. You can see him stay back, the hands start, but he gave himself a chance, just missed the baseball.
Two outs. It's going to be up to Cabrera. Well, Cabrera, who has been red hot, was cool last night. Sip gets a strike on him. Cabrera 0 for 5 last night, struck out his last 3 times up, and has struck out 3 times tonight.
And he had been red hot for so long. Now coming down just a little bit, so all that does is it makes him due, Dwayne. He's due.
And a strike on the corner. He's not happy about that call.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, that you go from 1-1 to 0-2.
Two men on, 2 men out, and 2 strikes the count. Top of the 8th. And the pitch is wide. He took a shot out there.
Try to take it a little bit wider.
Yep.
You know, you just got to strike on a ball that was clearly off the plate, and you think, well, if I could go out there again, maybe I can entice a swing from Cabrera because he's not sure what's going to be called. What is it?
That's Longoria on second. Loney is the runner at first. Zip taking too much time. Cabrera granted timeout by DJ Rayburn. And a catch and miss. The pitch away. Breaking ball. And he strikes out Cabrera. Bottom of the 8th coming, 1-0 Rays. Archer, 7 innings, 78 pitches, and 8 strikeouts. Just a few pitches to settle in the first inning. Did not give up a hit until the base hit by Rasmus in the 5th. And he's gone primarily with that slider and a fastball, sprinkling in a changeup now and again. And Carlos Gomez goes after the first pitch. Skies it into short right. And he is the first out. Geyer out there in right field handles that one. Geyer staying on after he pinch hit for Sizemore. Archer earlier in the night had a string of 11 in a row retired. He's retired 10 straight again. Here's Evan Gattis. The pitch is a strike. Gattis called out on strikes in the second inning. Hit a fly ball to center his last time up. That was in the 5th.
And that ball was well struck, but center field, that's where balls go to die.
A little bit wide, says Rayburn. 1-1. Cleveland beat the Yankees in New York 3-2. And the Tigers beat Toronto. Beat Texas, beg your pardon, 4-0. That's a strike, and it's now 1-2. Tigers 4, Texas nothing. Boston beat Kansas City 4-1. Angels playing at home against the White Sox. In the bottom of the first, that game's tied 1-1. Here the Rays lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th. He's trying to earn a split of the 4-game series in Houston. And a foul ball back. Fastball 96 up, and Gaddis took a cut.
We've seen, you know, his hot zone with the home runs. We've seen him get to those balls up in the zone. But I think that, you know, Chris Archer, obviously changing the eye level with that fastball, come right back with that slider here.
And it's down, taken for ball 3. It was the slider.
Well, and let's see if he lives by the old rule, and that's typically that in that 2-2 count, you go with the slider 2-2, and it doesn't work out, you're going to go with it 3-2.
And he got it. Came right back with a slider and strikes him out.
Well, how about that swing by Gaddis? That looked like a swing. You're just trying to make contact and foul the pitch off. This was a nasty slider right at the bottom of the strike zone. And a wave.
Luis Valbuena. He's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out to first. A little bit wide. 1-0. Ball, 1 strike. Archer 88 pitches, 2 outs into the 8th. And a cut and a miss. 1-2.
It's been changeup, slider, changeup so far here. Valbuena, fastball hitter.
1-2, and he got him. Fastball. He went from the change at 87 to the fastball at 97 and struck him out. 1-2-3. Go the Astros in the 8th. And on to the 9th. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
lead, trying to salvage a split here at Minute Maid Park. Coming up immediately after the game, join us live for Rays Live, the post-game show presented by Checkers. Todd and Orestes will be in the Fox studios in Florida. I have it on good authority that O will be singing. I don't know why I'm promoting that. I don't want to draw viewers away from the show, but I've been told he's going to sing. We'll also talk about Chris Archer's dynamic performance, give you highlights, and I'll be in the visitors clubhouse to get Kevin Cash's post-game press conference and talk to the rest of the Rays as well. That's coming up right after the game. Rays Live post-game brought to you by Checkers. Fellas?
Orestes on his way to becoming a song and dance man, perhaps, and this would be the first step.
He's some kind of song and dance man.
Apparently so. Well, we go to the ninth. Chad Qualls, veteran right-hander, the third pitcher of the night for Houston. But Jennings leads it off. Takes a strike on the fastball from Qualls. Qualls was in the game last night for an inning, worked the eighth, gave up a hit, picked up a couple strikeouts. Jennings lays off. A 1-1 count. Popped up right side. It's Altuve making the catch. One out in the ninth. Playing fantasy? MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.TV today. Here's Kevin Kiermaier, who walked in the third. Pitch is a strike. Kiermaier swung at that pitch when McHugh was in there and stumbled making the delivery and threw what appeared to be a strike. And Kiermaier went out pitcher first.
That was great all around. I mean, McHugh, the way that he stumbled coming off the mound and was able to maintain enough composure to flip the ball towards home plate, and then Kiermaier just waits back on it and takes a swing at. I mean,
2-1. Fastball away. Two and two. The Rays have 7 hits. Houston 1 hit. The Rays have stranded 8, including the bases loaded in the third. Got their run in the fourth, driven in by Desmond Jennings. Logan Forsythe scoring the run, and there's a line drive base hit into right for Kiermaier. He's going to make a big turn there at first, as he often does, and hangs on with a single.
May have just broken Correa's finger.
Yeah, that ball came up on him and got him in the throwing hand.
Well, you come ripping out of the box, a hanging breaking ball, and Kevin Kiermaier so often does. He's going to challenge the outfielder. Rasmus is going to throw it in, and watch this. One hop hits him right on the hand.
Kiermaier with speed at first. Rivera, the hitter. It's a little bit wide. Rene Rivera, 2 for 3, actually 2 for 2. He got credit for a sacrifice in the third. He's 2 for 2 tonight, and a move to first. There goes Kiermaier, and the pitch is fouled out of play. He had a good jump. So the count's a ball and a strike. Kiermaier 13 of 15 in the running department.
Well, the Rays will be aggressive with the lead. We know that. They've got a guy on the base paths right now that can flat out fly. He's learning to become a better base stealer. You know, just because you're fast, that doesn't automatically translate into good base stealer, but we've seen him grow that part of his game as the season has moved along.
He's going, cutting a miss, and the throw down, the ball there waiting, and it was out. Altuve putting the tag on it.
How about the throw by Castro? That was on a breaking ball, and Castro comes out throwing, and he threw that ball right into the foot of Kevin Kiermaier. I mean, you talk about putting a throw on the money. It's caught, and Kiermaier slides into it. That's perfection.
Well, the Rays lose the base runner on the caught stealing. One and two to count to Rene Rivera. Now 2-2. Well, Kiermaier caught stealing for only the 3rd time this year. Tapper foul. Foul out of play. Last time Kiermaier was caught stealing was on the 1st of August when he tried to steal 3rd against the Red Sox up at Fenway. The other time he was caught stealing was at Fenway Park on the 5th, actually the 6th of May. And a little tap to the left side. Valbuena with the pickup, and the throw is in time. So the Rays do not score in the 9th. Chris Archer will take a 1-0 lead into the bottom half of the 9th.
Chris Archer looking to finish what he started. He has been fantastic. You go back, Colby Rasmus able to sneak a ball through against the shift for the only hit for the Houston Astros. Outside of that, Chris Archer has been very, very strong. I mean, punching out Astros, efficient with his pitches. He's been in the zone, hit ahead, put you away, and out there looking for the CG.
90 pitches through 8. He'll face Preston Tucker to begin the bottom of the 9th inning. Jason Castro due next, and then Jose Altuve. Jed Lowry's already moved into the on-deck circle. A little tapper halfway to the mound, and the throw to first. 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Tucker out for the 2nd time. Archer to Loney.
Well, he came back with the first pitch changeup. Started him off that way in Tucker's first at bat, and then finishes him later in the game. First pitch change, little half swing, and another nice job of stepping, throwing, and getting that out.
It's 6 1-pitch outs for him in this game.
Well, an aggressive team. They're going to be out there swinging early, taking advantage.
Jed Lowry. Pitch away. So Archer here in the 9th. Pitch foul back. Archer pitched 8 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball against Seattle back on the 27th of May. Followed that up with 15 strikeouts in 8 innings against the Angels in Anaheim. Gave up a run in that outing. There's a strike, and it's 1-2. He went 8 innings against the Blue Jays on June the 23rd. 7 strikeouts, gave up a couple of runs, 1 earned. The 1-2 to Lowry, and close did he go. He held up. So now a 2-2 count to Lowry, pinch hitting for Castro. And strike 3 called. Fastball catches Lowry looking. Double figures in the strikeout department.
Well, Jed Lowry obviously selling out and looking for that slider. And he knew it. Well, you could see him mouth to himself his displeasure. Right on the corner. 1 away.
The 11th strikeout for Archer. 2 gone. And Jose Altuve about to step in here. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 9th. Altuve has walked and twice has struck out. 1 strike to count.
Well, the power slider, and we saw it starting last night with Alex Colomé. The power slider has given Jose Altuve fits.
A little tap. Third base, barehanded by Longoria, and the Rays win it. It's a 1-0 final as Chris Archer comes about as close as you can come to pitching a masterpiece. He gave up just 1 hit and faced just 1 man over the minimum, and the Rays win this one 1-0. For Chris Archer, his 3rd career shutout, the 2nd time he has shut out this Houston club. He had a shutout against them at Tropicana Field in July of 2013. Shut out the Yankees in New York in July of 2013. And tonight earns the Rays a split in this 4-game series on a 1-hit shutout of the Houston Astros. 1-0. Rays got their run in the 4th. Driven home by Desmond Jennings, and here's the final out of this game.
Well, how about the slider down and away, and here you come. Evan Longoria, he does it as good as anybody in the game. Charging with the glove or the bare hand. He goes bare hand there. Altuve, who can scoot. Boy, make a play. What a play to end it.
He gave up 1 hit, 1 walk. The walk was to Altuve in the first. He was put out at second base to end that first. And eventually the final out of this ball game, Altuve on the tap to third as the Rays win it 1-0. Truly an impressive performance on a game the Rays badly needed after a couple of very difficult losses in the middle of this 4-game series. They win it tonight 1-0 behind the brilliant pitching of Chris Archer. Rich standing by with Chris Archer right now.
Dwayne, Brian, was there any question as to who we were going to be talking to after this game? I was looking back at your stats this season. You pitched a handful of gems. Where does this one rank? Instant analysis for you. All right, I don't even know if that could cool you off as hot as you were tonight.
Yeah, most importantly, our defense played extremely well. Forsythe made a nice play early. KK went and got a ball, and the last play of the game right there, that's huge. Altuve's a fast runner. Renee and I were on the same page. We've had a chance to watch him all week. 3 games. We sat beside each other most of the innings that we were pitching, talked about game plan, and went out there and executed it.
You had your 200th strikeout of the season. You join a list that includes Scott Kazmir, who we saw here earlier, David Price, one of your closest friends, and James Shields. What's it like to be a member of that kind of company?
It's special. Those guys you named right there are really good. They were vital parts of the franchise, the Tampa Bay Rays franchise, and to be amongst such an elite class, I feel special. But again, I wouldn't have been able to do that without my team behind me. The game of baseball looks real easy on TV, but those plays that those guys made look routine were not routine. And that gives me confidence to go out there and continue to fill up the strike zone. And I'm just happy we got that dub and split the series here and hopefully win this next series in Oakland.
Humor me for a second, because I know you like talking about the team, and rightfully so, but with all the strikeouts that you had tonight, can you tell us what was working for you, and also the fact that you made it look so simple, like you said, and I know that you're never pitching to get those strikeouts.
Yeah, they were an aggressive team. They were swinging early. I feel like I had all 3 of my pitches going, and that helps me out a lot. Early on, my fastball command was just okay. But having my changeup working allowed me to get a feel, get deep enough into the ball game to where I finally got a feel for my heater. And then whenever I had all 3 going, I was able to keep them off balance. They're a good team, and it took a lot of energy and effort to go out there and compete the way I did.
Lastly, when you came to the bench after the 8th inning, and you pretty much knew you were coming out for the 9th, everyone was leaving you alone like you were throwing a no-hitter. The only guy that I saw come talk to you was Jim Hickey. What did he say to you, and what was going through your mind?
He was just asking me how I felt. He wanted to know if a certain situation came up, was I comfortable staying in the game? And I told him, yes, sir. There's not many, you don't get many opportunities like that. And I wanted to show our team, I wanted to show the other pitchers on our staff that we can do this, and hopefully this is the first of a few more complete games that we can throw.
Chris Archer, you looked like the best pitcher in baseball tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rich.
Guys, the rare TBCG. First complete game of the year for a Rays pitcher, Chris Archer. 1 batter over the minimum.
So the Rays are winners tonight in Houston. It's a 1-0 final as Chris Archer is superb in pitching the Rays to a split in this 4-game series. So the Rays now go to 60 and 61, and they'll head to Oakland. We'll be with you tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 9:30 on Sun Sports. Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays are winners here in Houston. Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, is next.